Hello and welcome back to Sonic Unleashed Part 16. In this episode, we'll be continuing on through Shamar Night, the Scorched Rock.
Shamar!
Called so because, honestly, Shamar has got both aspects of Australia and the Arab desert thing going on. This area specifically is much more like Australia than the Arab desert, but there are, canyon and plateau type areas in that region of the world. I'm just not familiar with
proximity. Proximity to the ocean is a likely culprit of these rather familiar topography that we see before us.
He had double strike, bastard! I blocked his first one.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Alright, so the Shamar Night levels, to be perfectly honest, aside from the first one that kept, breaking out and caused me to start using save states, are not honestly all that difficult when it comes to the all in all combat that we want to do. But they do start setting up the incredibly iffy platforming segments that we'll start seeing in Arabian, and I am not a fan of those. However, since most of what I like about the Unleashed night levels is actually how easy the combat is to get into, I don't really have a big problem with the platforming being slightly more complicated in Shamar Night. But then we have these guys. These are fire robes. You need to hit them with water in order to extinguish their fire before you can do damage to them. This can be a problem because they float around the battlefield and continually get in the way of your combos. If you hit them whilst they are on fire, you get damaged and partially burnt. And hitting them with water can be a bit of a problem, as you'll see here as I hit him twice with water, only for nothing to fucking happen.
I think he was waiting for you to try dousing the walls. Alright, got him.
No, you can hit him before you douse the walls, certainly.
Well, they go down easy once you douse them.
No, once you douse them, it's significantly easier to deal with the rest of the area as it opens up, the rest of the area for platformings and such.
Right, because
force behind the pots.
Because all enemies that get hit get staggered, and Sonic can hit everybody that is within melee range.
Additional unleash meter. Sexy Arabic Sands jazz music. And exploration. Clearly, this is still a Sonic Unleashed game. So what's new in the world of Cloud whilst we are exploring Shamar Night?
Well, I am kind of starting to appreciate the evolutionary adaptations of the species that we know as your garden variety ants. Ants are amazing creatures. Valedictorian in my high school class made it very clear to me that ants are fucking amazing. But I think one of the evolutionary adaptations is that when ants go on like an expeditious type trek, they assume that their numbers are going to take a lot of casualties, which leaves behind dead bodies. But ants eat each other when they die, so those bodies will actually help the colony keep track of not only where they have gone, but also continue to resupply so that they can keep expanding.
Yeah, I have to say that insects in general, as a family of animal, are ridiculously interesting and kind of stupidly broken when you consider all the benefits that they get. They get relatively reduced lifespans in order to effectively mass units without negatively affecting the environment. They get incredibly resistant exoskeletons for their size, as well as the ability to perform great feats of strength for their weight class. Ants and other insects in general are stupidly amazing at what they do, although they are a bit over-specialized for it.
Well, they are probably they probably go back, between like 300 million and like a billion years into the past, when there was probably a lot of radiation on Earth, and radiation is relatively not very effective against simple organisms like cockroaches, ladybugs, ants, bees. Although they can die to radiation exposure, it's true in nature that the simpler the arrangement, the easier it is to maintain.
Here we have a hidden item over this way. One of my favorite. This is me attempting and failing the sidle because the camera won't let me just hit the direction that it's implying. Anyway, one of my favorite insects on. Oh damn it! And now Cloud's got dropping net.
I do. I can still hear you though.
Oh, that's odd. Because it was very. No, I can
still hear you. Yay! Right, we didn't lose connection.
Going, Yay. Okay.
So we were talking about favorite insects.
As I was attempting
pests,
to tangent
if you will.
my favorite personal insect is the tiger beetle, because I am a speed addict. And what the tiger beetle can do is, and I always forget what the actual stat here is, but it can run at either an actual or a scale of 200 miles per hour in short bursts. And it is fucking amazing that it can do that. It's over-specialized to be able to do that, and it can't actually function at that speed, but it has the ability to do that, and it's so cool to me.
Helped its ancestors survive, therefore its descendants have made it to the modern day.
That is what evolution is, folks.
Evolution.
It's not just for your Bulbasaur anymore. It's for your basic insects as well.
And it's also for your ancient Roman literature.
Yeah. Just not nearly as much.
Because if it was thought of in the past, it will probably be thought of again in the present.
Alright, pick up the rings and then go to the gold ring.
Yeah.
Yay!
Unleashed Sonic has completed.
Alright, time. Did we get it with rings? Yep. Did we get it with force? Yep. Yay! S rank for us. 3 more sun medals.
Oh, son of Jarrell, kneel before Zod.
Honestly, I'm glad that we don't actually have any Zod equivalents in this game. I would not want to do that boss fight.
Okay, so I've always wondered for the longest time, because I only know of Zod from watching freaking Mallrats, but who is Zod?
Zod is one of the recurring major antagonists for Superman. He is a survivor of Krypton by use of exile, and he wants to restore Krypton by, well, blowing up Earth. Usually,
Gotcha.
That's modus operandi. I mean, he would be more than happy to go to a planet that is not Earth in order to restore it, but Earth happens to be the one that he's on at the moment. So it's here. It's got a mostly stable environment for humanoids. Let's just change the environment here to what we need it to be in order to restore Krypton to its glorious master race status. And if we do that successfully within the week, we can all have ice cream and stop falling in the
No!
Yes.
Go on.
Again. But this is the kind of platforming that Adabat is going to be fucking loaded with. Because Adabat really, really wants you to take advantage of the limited grapple mechanics in order to do basic platforming and exploration. Despite the fact that the camera does not like doing these, like at all. See?
God
it looked like I was just above that, but no, I wasn't. I was not just above it. And now I have to go all the way back to the start of the platforming segment in order to try and get onto the floating platform.
You didn't get super stretched that time. Alright. Yeah, this is some pretty bad camera fail. I thought the platform was gonna start moving before you actually landed on it. Oh god,
yeah.
Horrendous camera fail.
Yeah. The camera does not like these segments. But thankfully,
if
since
you
we
didn't
have
get the position,
the
you're
wear-upper,
dead.
we can take down flying units slightly easier than we're supposed to be able to.
Yay.
Dashing, dashing, dashing. All right. This is another instance of the camera trying to fuck with me and me saying, no, you're not allowed to fuck with me. I will wait for the camera to agree with me before doing things.
So while the camera gives us a chance to operate on the Time Wizard, let me say that this, oh my god, this is a thin platform.
Yes. Dodging.
Time magic. Yay.
Boink. Alright. We have successfully defeated the fire fan. And jumping onto this thing is also treacherous.
Yeah.
Yes, I just did a save state because I don't want to have to redo that platforming segment again. That was nerve-wracking as shit, and I don't want to do it again. Screw you.
You there. Aha.
Thankfully, we're back in the combat segments, which are pretty simple, so...
So which do you think is more annoying?
In these combat segments that I should be doing more often is focusing on the flyers, because the flyers have the ability to knock you out of combo just by hitting you, and that's annoying.
The flyers are definitely annoying, but I wanted to posit a question about the classic Sonic games. Do you think it's more annoying to get to fall into a pit or to be crushed?
Crushed. Because crushing obstacles in classic Sonic games tend to be in the classic style Sonic games tend to be blindside obstacles instead of fair platforming challenges.
Well, that is definitely a thing that had happened to me. I could Mystic
No!
So Mystic Cave Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog 2 comes to mind, that there are a lot of randomly occurring crusher segments, and because you're occasionally moving at high speed, I say occasionally, moving at high speed through the Mystic Cave Zone, you might not be able to react in time in order to avoid the crushing hazards. And then you have to start from the last checkpoint, in what is already a rather daunting and spooky level.
Now, which classic Sonic game do you think has the worst crushing hazards?
The worst crushing hazards, probably Sonic the Hedgehog 1. I would have to say, most notably because the final boss of the game is a crushing hazard.
Yes, but I would argue that Sonic the Hedgehog 1 crushing hazards are mostly there just to actually slightly expand on the level design, as opposed to gimp the play experience. But we can have this debate in another playthrough as we are finishing this part.
Yay! How do you like that? How do you like that?
I know we got it in time. We got it in rings,
Stares
and we got it in
menacingly
force.
to the right.
S rank for us. Alright, I had to replay that level. I forgot to mention that. Oh well.